Okay, so this is game one of Eucalyptus Bowl, the NAF Live event. My vampires against his undead. So playing vampire 6 games in a weekend on Fumbbl. I've got 2 block and 2 dodge. Apart from that, just 4 rerolls and a load of thralls. I might have taken a few more block on some thralls if I'd realised that skills could be spammed, general skills, but just found that out after the game started because I can't read properly, it appears. So he got +2 fame and then got high kick and has the ball. So he's all a bit rosy. And then he duffs up my dudes and gets rid of one. And then makes this awesome cage, which is like really super solid cage on there. So on my go, I just don't do anything at all. I'm just gonna chill out and wait for him to come to me, and just hope that he runs out of time and rerolls, because he's only got 2 rerolls. So that's the sort of disadvantage of his setup. So oh, so actually, I did something did I do something vaguely interesting on my last turn? I sort of did. So on my turn, yeah, my turn went quickly. So on my turn, I blocked this mummy, because if I'd got a double push, I could have pushed this mummy into this mummy over to here, and that would have given me 1 dice on the ball carrier. Because this, if it'd been a double pow, then it would have been a 2 dice on the ball carrier. But I was expecting a push. And this is guard mummy, so that would have been a 1 dice on the ball carrier, but I have block and he's got sure hand, so that would have been alright. As it was, we've got double both down, so very super quick turn there. But I'm not too worried about my positioning. I'm just in the way, basically. So if he wants to push ahead, he can, but he would have to leave his mummies behind if he pushed ahead too far. So he didn't push ahead at all. He just solidified his cage and did a quick sneaky foul on there and didn't get sent off. So all I'm doing here is just getting in the way again. I'm waiting for him to come to me. And then his super solid cage. Now, it's a weird one here, actually. So he basically left my vampire to stand up and have 1 dice on his ball carrier, which was kind of him. So this point I decide to sort of engage all my players, basically, and see what happens. So I stand everyone up, which I hadn't necessarily been doing so far, take the 1 dice, and it's only a push. So if that had been a pow or both down, it would have been lovely. As it wasn't too disastrous. And then he punches on my players a bit, but nothing bad happens. So that's quite cool. Got away with that one. Just a load of pushes and no armor breaks, which is great. Makes it a bit tricky for him to get the ball safe. So he runs away over here, away from his mummies, which is cool, which is what you want to achieve when you're playing Undead. So first Bloodlust, which I accept. Take that one out, that's fine. A second Bloodlust, less fine. And basically, yeah, so I'm getting a good feeling now. He's used up a reroll, and he's running out of time a little bit, which is quite nice, unless he pushes forward at this stage. And if he pushes forward, I've got these vampires here lurking, and it's tricky to get comfortable, really. So need the reroll to dodge out there. So I'm going to Bloodlust this guy, and then take the Blitz in there, which is good. So the Bloodlust works. And then just moving a vampire. I've used the reroll now, so just going for a 1 dice blitz on the ghoul, and I get the pow, which is marvellous news. Let's see where the bounce goes. Goes to the zombie. I get rid of the ghoul as well, which is nice. More bloodlusting. Now declare a handoff here, so I'm hoping to get the vampire round here, and then I think handing off to this one who's got dodge would be better than dodging out. Especially as the mummies would then be occupied, and dodge makes you, well, obviously having a dodge ball carrier is generally better than block one, I think. But fail the pickup, which is a bit of blow. Already used the reroll, and the ball bounces unhelpfully. So help bouncing backwards would have been marvellous, but wasn't to be. But his turn 7 now. Let's see if he can make it safe. So he gets useful blocks, no rerolls being used up, and he got the ball without a reroll either, but then wasn't able to get it safe really at all. Tried to get rid of the guard mummy with the hypno gaze, which fails, but not worth a reroll on that one. And then just going to come round here, Bloodlust, which is fine, and then take the 1 dice and get another pow, which is cool. So the ball is now loose again. And then I have to feed on this chap. But I've got this vampire lurking here to come around and make life difficult for the ball. So I do that. Didn't decided. I'd used the reroll, so I decided not to go for the pickup. Because actually just having a tackle zone on the ball was pretty good. So this is his last turn. He gets the ghoul into the end zone using a go for it. Now, this is an interesting one actually. So I think that I would have brought the mummy over. Well, it would have been 2 go for it though to get the assist, and because then the zombie could have hit the vampire at the. Oh no, that still have been a 1 dice. That would have been a bad idea. So he probably did the right thing. So 4 up pick up, 3 up dodge, and then the 3 up, 3 up for the score with the reroll, but wasn't to be. So that's cool. And then I surfed the ghoul, but no damage sadly. So he's back for the second half. Oh, and then that was horrible. I did a sort of glory block at the end and managed to hurt myself, but my Apo worked. I didn't rely on the regen at that stage. So on a slightly unhelpful kick going over there, and then 2 really unhelpful bloodlusts right at the beginning. So a stun and a player off the pitch immediately, which is a bit rubbish. But I've got the ball, so that's okay. So I'm perfectly happy to score quickly at this stage. Basically, any score would be good because I'm starting to run out of players. So let's see how this whole thing plays out. So just caging back in my own half again. So yeah, losing players right now. Here's an interesting one. So we didn't get the ref. Get the ref come. Oh, I thought we did get the ref. That's interesting. Oh yes, so we did get the ref, and his bribe failed. So I've still got a bribe. It's interesting. It doesn't show on the replay. I'm not quite sure what I was doing on this turn. So I gazed the white, but then I don't know why I did that really. I don't know what I was hoping to achieve. Can't even really. I didn't know at the time, which is never a good thing. So blitz the white with the ball carrier. Quite risky play, and then do a load of dodges. So I'm trying to get it safe over here, but I don't manage it, and I'm quite trying to figure out what goes wrong, because basically this is where it all goes slightly pear-shaped. So his turn. Oh, chain pushing, right? Okay, because I looked away at this stage, and he did some fancy stuff, so that was very cool. Okay, right. So he chain pushed the mummy into my guy. So that was a nice bit of play there. So let's rewind that and appreciate that a bit. So yeah, he spotted this nicely. So, and it wasn't a lot I could have done about it, really, I don't think, except spotted it and not done this crazy standing by the sidelines thing. So he brings the assist in there, and then gets the chain push for the mummy to go here. So then the ghoul can block this guy, the mummy can block this guy out of the way, and then it's an easy. Well, it's still only a 1 dice, and then it's a 1 dice on my ball carrier. So he does that. It does the mummy first, and then takes. Now that's interesting. Yeah, that was both down was actually quite useful, wasn't it? But he's still only got. So he has to cancel. Actually, no, both power would have been fine as well. Okay, so that was just a. So that was a 2 dice, and then he can. So in fact, was that? Yeah, there was a 1 dice. Yeah, 1 dice, and he gets the pow, and the ball goes away, and then goes there, and then it's all slightly rubbish. So he gets the ball and hands off and flies away with it, which is cool. Actually, slight error on his part there. He could have gone to there, and then I wouldn't have been able to reach him. But I think it might be one of those things where you have the nice turn, and then you don't quite necessarily, like, you do the really fancy thing, and then don't do the obvious thing following up. Double skulls there made life mildly exciting, but then I got the push, and then on my turn I decide to make him score, give myself 3 turns to score back. That both down was not very pleasant because it meant that there was no way through. Had to use the reroll on that, so push there. I'm just trying to get players up really, and I get the ball. And then he gets some players in the way, not very many, which because the undead can be a little bit on the slow side. So my turn. So my plan is to half dice the mummy, and then throw the ball to this thrall, and then blitz with a thrall, and score a touchdown. That is my plan. Let's see how it goes. So the half dice works, double pow, brilliant. Gives me 2 dice. Yeah, killed the mummy, which is slightly unnecessary. Get rid of the skeleton, just to avoid the interception, basically. And then I'm going to try and pass the ball to this guy. Now, I didn't go for any go for it's there, because the ghoul didn't have an interception chance. So it shows you the interception thing when you're going for it. But sadly, it dropped the ball. Ball goes over there. So it's his turn. Does a bit of duffing up. I can't remember if he picked the ball up. Yeah, so he picked the ball up. Oh, right. So he picked the ball up and went for a throw. So actually, at this point, I thought, oh, I'll just end my turn. But then actually, there was a chance of me scoring. So that's quite cool. So Bloodlust that guy out the way. And then blitz the white and get the vampire into the end zone. And then this vampire can come around and bloodlust the ghoul, waiting for the thrall to come along and do the throw, which is pretty cool. Yep, so that works. And here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 go for it. First one uses a reroll. Second one's fine. Pick up the ball, very exciting. 5+ needed. Now at this stage, so when you're watching, I didn't look at the dice rolls, and I just saw the ball flying. Just saw the ball flying in the right direction, but it wasn't to be, and it bounced off. So yeah, bit disappointing loss really, but nice chain pushing by him. So kudos for that one. Next game is in 50 minutes time. Time for a break.